Hi, this is Lorrie Jonas with Joyful Art, and I went through some of my stash and decided to use some of the stuff that I bought that I haven't used. And so I'm going to make an art journaling page, and I wanted to use this Easy Paint Rub-On, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use it as a rub-on, but I wanted to use this. I bought this and I loved the birds, and so I'm gonna, it's by Plaid. I think I just randomly bought it. Maybe I will use it as a rub-on. I need to use it up. And then I have my stenciling. I'm gonna use this paper towel. I like these, but I'm gonna make sure it's a lot inkier before I do it. And then of course I have my art journaling book, and I haven't been using it because I put it aside and I've just been using loose pages. But I decided that if I use this book, what I would do, because my kids love to pull out artwork and frame it or whatever they want, so I'm just gonna like use one page and leave the back blank, use one page, leave it. So if they did want to, tear it out and frame it, they could. This is the page that I just did the other day after watching Jane Davenport's video. I love how she uses the Prisma markers into her work. I did a hand. So I'm going to flip the page, and I'm going to just start out by, I love to collage, I really do, but for my art journaling, I think I'm basically going to just use it for art that way, and use my other loose papers for the collage so I can really work with it. I have some Claudine Studio paint that I need to use up, so I'm going to use a lot of them. Some gesso, so you could see it's just needing to be used up. So what I do with my gesso is I just keep refilling my gesso. I buy the big gallon and then pour it into here. But this is my favorite white gesso primer, is Winsor Newton. It's thick, it does the job, it's just fantastic primer. So I'm going to have fun tonight, and I'm just making a little video. It's been a little while. I have I have some videos that I just haven't put together. But since this is a journaling page, it should get done, and I'm only doing one, we'll do it as art. So I don't always primer my page with gesso. Not when I'm art journaling. If I'm making a canvas to give away, if it's on canvas, I will. But today, like I said, I cleaned my craft room the other day, and I just wanted to use some of the supplies that I thought I would use and never did. So it's getting old. There's like different brushes. When you don't buy nice brushes, the hair will get stuck. And I go through my brushes so much that, because I use a lot of all kinds of just glues. I love Mod Podge and stuff, and it's just not good for your brushes. So yeah, I got these. They were old. I think I got them at Archivers, and I got them 25% off, and they're starting to use. I want to use up my older stuff. I just went out and bought a bunch of golden. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6 bottles of that. But before I get into using that, I want to use up my older stuff. I'm so good at just cracking open my new stuff and saying, you know, not saying anything to my old stuff. So I really want to use this up. If you see, I always take my paintbrush out and then dab it into the water, or I dab it into... I'm trying really hard not to use water. This is a Ranger product, and so it works well with diluting into water. But a lot of times when you do that, you're in the long run, when you use mostly water and not the acrylic, it messes up the chemical balance of the paint itself and will end up chipping. And I don't want to spend all this time on something that means so much to me to just have it chip in the long run, because the base of it isn't stable. So there are certain products that you can buy to dilute your paint, and that's what I suggest you do, instead of diluting with water. But the only reason why I'm diluting with water in this one is just because it's a Ranger product, and it's a water soluble product, and Ranger does really well with their products, so that doesn't have to happen. And when I'm mixing a background, I try to mix colors that I know are going to look nice together and won't turn to mud. And it's important that you do that too. Just, if you put too many colors that don't blend well, then it just turns to mud. And I'm only going to do like half of this, but down, just blend it. I want to take a little bit of my masking fluid, and this is something that you have to be careful of using with a paintbrush. And so I often take the bottom of my paintbrush and just use that. And so I'm just writing a few words. I just go over it, you know, love. Or maybe I'll just put a heart there, so that when I'm painting the background, this will stay. And this is going to be before I even I scraped off the color there. This is just for effect. Love, live. Now do a couple of squigglies. Just random X's. And make sure, whoop, there's a blob. We'll just add it into the heart. Okay. And so I'm going to let that dry. And when it dries, it's going to be awesome. Because all this will be either white, because I did kind of scrape off some of the orange. You can see the gesso underneath it. So I don't mind that. But we'll let it dry and we'll get back to it. Okay, this is dry, mostly dry, and I'm hoping this is the longest it takes. The ones that have a bit blobby is still a little bit wet, but I'm fine with that. And how you can tell it's dry is it kind of turns yellow and then gets real shiny. And so what I'm basically going to do is work on my background. And I love just adding and adding and adding. So right now, I think I'm going to add a bit of Golden's green gold just along the edges. And you know what? I've been running and getting Golden with coupons at Michael's because it really is worth every penny. Oh, this is a lousy brush. See, that's why. Some brushes just... See, and it's transparent, so it's not gonna really leave a... And I tend to grab towards the green colors. I either like real light or greenish brownish. It just seems to be the colors that I grab towards. And I'm just gonna just lightly paint over some of this. I don't want to take away from the color that's there. I like to try to keep the grains going. I like to keep the edges a little darker, you know, and so the edges of the paper, like right here, I'll add extra so you could see the dark edges, and on the bottom right here. And remember, I still have that, spit it out. I still have this right here, this masking fluid on here. And so I'm liking that, the green in it, the blue in it. Let's see what else. I want to add some textures. So I'm just going to use my texture plates here. I have these texture plates, and I really like this one. And so I'm going to add a bit of blue. What do I want? Yeah, well, I don't know. Let's see. I decided to go with the nickel. I'm just gonna put a few drops on there. Dip my paintbrush in the water and just get it really wet. And then add some textures on the side. And I'm just going to stamp it until it's all the paint is not so wet. Re-stamp that, because some of this is going to disappear. When I'm done, I'll just I love that. Just, these are my favorite. They weren't very expensive, and they're just plastic texture plates I found at a scrapbooking well, it wasn't a retreat, it's just it was an expo. So let's see what I want to do now. I actually think, that, let's see, that's all I need for the background here. I know it was a lot of texture paint just for one little, but you see how it turned. This is how you take it off. I just wanted to give you an example of how this works, because I want to add yellow, and I want all this white to turn yellow. Some stayed. See, I like that, how like in the green, now there's lines. Because I want to draw on here too. And there's some spots were not dry. Make sure your spots are dry. Let me just go over it. I think it's just the parts where, yeah, where it had the masking fluid on it, that still was kind of, I like to use my paper towel, and you can just use your fingers. And so before I use my masking fluid often, because I just, especially if I'm doing like a dark color on top of a light color, That's awesome. Now I need to feel and make sure all the masking fluid is off. So it took me, because I used so much, like 20 minutes for the masking to dry, but for me it was worth it because it gave me the look that I was looking for. I'm just gonna spray a little workable fixative on top. And sometimes I like to scan my work in. And so once this dries, I'm going to scan it in. Okay, I scanned it in, and the reason why I like to scan in my work is because when my finished project is done, sometimes I like to put a background behind it when I'm using my Photoshop, and always the background always goes with it. I am sitting here looking at this. This is what I use. Yes, it is toilet paper. I use it to sob up a lot of my work. But when it gets like this, I need to take off the layer. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to draw an image, and then I'm going to use this toilet paper for the background. I have not done it before. This is going to be... Did I put my rub on? I just had everything in front of me, and then it was in the way. And so I moved it. There it is. And so normally I would just draw, but since I want to use these up, and I love my birds, trying to figure how can I use this for, you know, multi-uses, and I know exactly how. I'm gonna, how cute that, Easy Paint Reusable Practice Guide. Huh, and this is pretty cute. Scraping off this, so I'm just gonna figure out what side I want to do. And use my graphite. So I am liking this bird on the corner. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my graphite down. And then I'm going to put my birdie down. And of course, when I draw on these, I like to add my own style to it, so I don't exactly draw exactly like what